the key witnesses in these cases, they're not legal cases, but they're, investigations done by Congress, have basically admitted that they're working for the Russians. I mean, there's been some huge stories in the last 24 hours.
Like,
Well, not least there's two. One out of Alabama, where they're claiming that frozen embryos are people and therefore they should be protected and have rights. So that's again, the far right Republicans trying to protect frozen embryos. And then the other story is, of course, that it turns out that all of this Hunter Biden and Hunter Biden's laptop and trying to impeach Joe Biden, all of this evidence turned out to be Russian propaganda, that the Republican Party were in cahoots, literally colluding with the Russians to create this false narrative in order to try and nail Hunter and Joe Biden, and none of it was true. So these are
how
huge
has that been
stories.
proved not to be true? Just to extend the moon landings
Well,
theme.
because the people who were giving evidence, there's two or three individuals who themselves were, the key witnesses in these cases. They're not legal cases, but they're, investigations done by Congress. Have basically admitted that they're working for the Russians. So, this is massive, considering that there is a general election just a few months away.
And how have people reacted to that news? I mean, it's astonishing, isn't it?
It is
It's
astonishing.
massive.
It's massive. So hence my point about not really noticing that something landed on the moon, because this is like something landing or coming from the moon. Vladimir Putin is still meddling in elections. He is still meddling in the national conversation, pushing misinformation, and consequently, it's very hard to know which way is up, which way is down, and whether anything is true or anything is false. But everything that the Republicans have been saying about Hunter Biden, which has been going on for years now, it turns out was all propaganda. And, Rudy Giuliani has a lot to answer for, America's mayor, because he was the one that managed to get hold of the laptop off the repair shop in the first place. I mean, it is just an absolute political mess. And I'm amazed it hadn't crossed the Atlantic in terms of news.
And the other thing, of course, is that Biden got his own back because he met Navalny's widow.
That's correct. Yulia Navalnaya and Navalny's daughter, I'm afraid I don't know her name, but they sat with Joe Biden. They met here in California, actually. So we've had Air Force One in town and all the military action that goes with that. And this was a very moving moment because Joe Biden has been an advocate of Alexei Navalny from the very beginning. And when Joe Biden was first elected, within a week, he was going public asking or making the point to Vladimir Putin on television and saying it is essential that you protect the rights and the safety of your opposition leader. And here we are a few years later, and of course that hasn't happened, and Navalny, we presume, was executed by the Kremlin. And so, I do think that Joe Biden is on the right side of history when it comes to this.
Absolutely right. And presumably he carried off the meeting with aplomb. He didn't stumble over his words too much.
No, because all that stuff is made up misinformation and propaganda, whether it's coming from the Republicans or the Kremlin, who knows? But Joe Biden is in very good shape. He is of sound mind. He's 80, so he gets tired easily. And unfortunately, it's not easy to take lots of rests when you're the president and there's stuff to do. But, we gotta stop all this stuff about Biden being senile, because he isn't. And I know people that have met him and have worked with him, and he is absolutely on it. When he's rested and he is well briefed, there is not a problem there. And unfortunately, you look at Donald Trump in the opposition. This guy's been slurring his words. He said Israel was the capital of Israel yesterday. I mean, hello? So, it's very easy to criticize Joe Biden because he looks older. In reality, he's just 3 years older. He's not overweight, and as you know, a little bit of weight makes you look a bit younger.
I certainly do know that. So, Anthony Davis, thank you so much for coming on the show and letting us know what's happening in America, including the astonishing revelation that many of the accusations against Hunter Biden were, in fact, Russian propaganda.